It is Powwow.
The Powwow with Mo podcast.
Welcome to the Powwow with Mo podcast. I'm Mo.
I am Powwow.
And today we are joined by Coopie.
Hello.
Coopie is my wife, in case anyone didn't know. All right, so this week will kind of be like a Christmas episode, and Coopie loves Christmas, so she's going to help on our top 5 favorite Christmas movies list. Speaking of that, I just thought of things I needed to put on there, like right before we started this, and forgot to, so I might have to change mine. But all right, Powwow, what do we have in current events?
So one thing I wanted to bring up in current events was the UPS lost a Canadian person's inheritance of almost $1 million.
Wow.
It was an $846,000 check that was sent through UPS. Earlier this week, the story broke, and UPS offered to refund the $32 shipping fee and write an apology letter to the person. Because that should, take care of the $846,000 this person was going to receive for their inheritance.
Well, why wasn't it in a cashier's check?
So what happened is that
That's my question.
they had to send this specific check that apparently never expires, very much like a cashier's check. However, the bank said that they would not refund, or they would not issue a new check unless this person signed a document that says if anyone else ever cashes that other check, then you'll be responsible for paying for it. Then they sign that piece of paper, and then the bank says, sorry, we're still not going to do it. We need to put a lien against your house just in case somebody cashes that check. And they said, fuck you. I'm not doing that.
Right.
So since then, as of Thursday, UPS and this TD Bank changed their mind because, again, the money is in a bank account with this TD Bank. And they have said, you know what? We're going to issue you a new check. We're not going to worry about it if it gets cashed. They'll take care of it at that point. Because to me, if it gets cashed and you're going to know who the hell cashed it, at that point you could prosecute that person for falsifying an identity of getting that inheritance.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But to me, this should have been an easy resolution to begin with. And if I was this person receiving that $840,000 plus, I would have thrown a bigger fit than just saying, well, this sucks. I'm just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I just wouldn't trust UPS anymore.
No, exactly. Like it's very concerning that that's all they would offer.
Delivery services lately, you see all the videos of like them people just throwing your packages and not really caring.
Like where they show TVs getting hurled over an 8-foot tall fence.
All-time low.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. I only had like 2 things this week, but the one thing I had was a local story here in Ada, Oklahoma, where there was a man charged with molestation was found dead Thursday in his home.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd seen it or not. So he was, in the article, they say he was a bus minister.
Yeah, and I still don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I think he drove the bus to take kids to church.
Right, but I don't know where the minister came from. Me and Coopie immediately we watched Ozarks, and there's like a boat minister who like has a church on the water on a boat. Okay. So the whole time I was reading it, I was just imagining a guy driving around.
Preaching on the
bus.
But yeah, he molested, I guess, allegedly 3 girls, different time periods over the years. He was admitted to kissing a girl in like 2005, but they didn't press charges and just let him keep driving the bus. And he was found dead. It does not say in this article if it was a heart attack, if someone broke in his house and killed him.
They don't say anything about it.
It doesn't say any of it. I think most people read it and they're like, someone killed him, justice, right?
Right.
But I don't really know.
I seen there was a Facebook post in the Ada page that was talking about it. And I don't know how many people that immediately just put justice was served and things like that. The moment that it put that he had died and there was 4 or 5 cops surrounding his house with tape. That was their immediate reaction. Not that this dude, and again, I'm not saying that you should say he was or wasn't guilty. I just think that someone should be able to go through due process before being judged one way or the other.
Right. Well, and I also heard of some comments being like, I've known him my whole life. He didn't do it.
Yeah, I seen that.
It's like,
I had a baseball coach that I thought I knew very well, and he was convicted. He admitted in the middle of a trial that he had put money in a jar on the counter and had younger boys come over to his house, and if they wanted money out of the jar, then they had to do favors for him.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one coming at all. I mean, this guy was a very good baseball coach. He was deaf, which makes you just like put your guard down a little bit with him. It was very weird though.
Right.
So another thing that I seen in the news is that there was a man that was in the ocean for 28 straight hours because he fell off a boat. Nothing to hold on to. He had anything from a shark come up and bump against him to jellyfish to flesh-eating fish trying to eat his legs, and also seagulls pecking at him. And most scientists say that he shouldn't have stayed alive during that whole 28 hours and kept himself afloat. But what I find crazy about the whole story, obviously, besides all him being able to survive all of this and being found, is that after he was found, he got off of an island, went to a tree, started banging his head against the tree because he thought it was a dream that he was still in the water. And only until he could feel the bark and see the blood coming out of his head that he realized that he was back again on land and being able to move forward.
That's intense.
That is crazy.
I mean, I couldn't imagine being in the dark ocean for 28 hours, just hanging out, floating.
I think it'd be hard for you to make yourself give up and just die. Like, part of you would always try to, like, well, I'll just see how long I can make it. I just don't know if I would have made it that long.
This dude 3 times tried to kill himself. Just let the water fill up, and he couldn't. It just couldn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, your body has a way.
He tried swallowing water. Didn't work. So he put himself in board meetings and talked his way through it that way of saying, okay, Hillary, how do we stay afloat in the business? And that's how he did it. He goes through this thing of that's how he was able to
That's insane.
to go about it. I mean, whatever works for you to get through that terrible time frame. But he said the worst thing was these little fish that were just eating the back of his calves, just coming up and nibbling on the back of him the whole time.
Yeah.
And you can't swim away from it. Obviously, you're in the middle of an ocean. But he did, once he was found, and he said he cried for like 5 straight hours with the captain. He asked to get back in the water because he didn't want to, have that fear for the rest of his life. And so then after being in the water for 28 hours, only sleeping for 5 hours, and then crying for, he says, 5 to 5.5 hours, he then went swimming again and surfing for 4 hours. So whatever workout this guy's on, I would like to know so I can make sure I get in that kind of shape.
Right. All right, so Netflix, within the last week, at some point in time, they released some stats of people who watch, their shows, and there are a few that stuck out that were funny. There are 53 people who watched A Christmas Prince 18 days in a row, the first 18 days it was available.
I did watch it once.
So
I don't even know what that movie is, honestly.
I walked in on it at one time.
Okay.
He shamed me for it.
Somebody watched Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl every day, 365 days in a row on their account.
That's insane.
Yeah. There was one of the, someone in the UK watched a B movie 357 times so far in 2017.
Oh my God.
Maybe it's just a parent and they just put it on in the background for their child.
Right. I mean, I would assume it's got to be kid related, but it's funnier
That's a lot.
if it's not.
That's a lot.
I mean, Sia's probably watched Smurfs a good 25 or 30 times, but nowhere near in the hundreds at all.
Is that movie as bad as everyone says? I've never even gotten close to watching it.
Honestly, it was okay. Now I'm talking about not the Smurfs where it's got I just lost his name. Help me here. Doogie Howser.
Oh, Neil Patrick Harris.
Thank you. Not that one. He's watched the all cartoon one.
Okay.
Smurfs. That one is, but no, we've watched the other one. He's not a fan of it. It's not that great. But the other Smurfs it's all right. But after, again, probably the 3rd time I'm done watching it.
Right.
Another thing that I've seen in the news is another lawsuit over groping and misconduct allegations, and this time it's against Gene Simmons. The woman identifies herself as Jane Doe. Now, I know Gene Simmons was on record saying he slept with over 1,000 women.
I was going to say, why is this a surprise to anybody?
I mean, when he said he had over 1,000, I didn't think they were all consensual.
But I do find it, again, there's no name with this. It says a client was humiliated by the incident, so they wanted to remain anonymous. again, I think there's going to come to a point where some people are going to start doubting some of these claims that people have. Not saying that I doubt this one at all. I'm just saying.
Right. No, I mean, I work with someone who is that voice on the other side of like, well, it couldn't have happened this many times. And I'm like, it's really not even that many percentage-wise of the population of the U.S. I don't know. To me, it's not surprising. To this person I work with, it's every time of like, we better question their motives. And as someone who's never sexually assaulted or harassed anyone, I'm all for people losing their jobs because then I'm like, maybe I can get these jobs someday.
Yeah, I could hear you with that.
So it just does. I don't know. I don't ever feel bad if someone. I feel like, yeah, well, if you raped a girl, then yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, you
now
go
I
to
think it's
jail.
different if it's like, because I mean, we witnessed these sort of things before. If two people are drunk and they have sex, or whatever, it's always
And I was talking about that with somebody the other day, and I think having two boys, I'm going to have to tell them, if you're drunk, don't sleep with anybody.
right.
Because there's going to be a chance where someone could claim rape even if you were both drunk. Just don't do it.
Right. It's like men, who I think we all agree are the dumbest of the genders,
Probably, yeah.
are held with this responsibility of don't get drunk and do something dumb. I don't know.
For sure.
I don't think men can handle it. That's all I'm saying.
For sure there.
I can tell Coopie's trying to
I was
not
saying-
talk, but
It looks like she may have something to say, Coopie.
No, I mean, I just think that, it's not just black and white. There's always going to be a gray area, different perspectives on how the situation went down. And so, yeah, you just bottom line, don't go to parties at all. That's what I would say. Just
Be the
avoid
sober
it.
one at a party.
or you
Yeah.
gotta go in like your big girl groups.
Yeah. Or guys,
No, you can't have a bunch of guy groups. 'cause
no, I was
that's
going to
recipe
say,
for disaster.
or guys should just also quit being so horny all the time. That would also help.
Won't happen in college.
Sometimes
Yeah,
girls just
that's not gonna
sometimes
go in
girls are
college.
just there to hang out. They don't necessarily want to hook up. And guys always think about hooking up.
Most of the time, I would say, especially in college. So something that Mo's mentioned past couple of weeks now, with Disney buying 21st Century. I've seen that the article came out that they will be buying them for $52.4 billion.
Right. And from what I understand, they're buying everything except the actual channel Fox, Fox News,
And Fox Sports.
and FS1 or whatever. But no, like all their like Fox Sports Oklahoma,
Yeah, all
all
those
those
are.
small ones are going to be ESPN Oklahoma,
Yep.
ESPN Dallas. So that'll change quite a bit. Every show on Fox, for the most part, is produced by 20th Century Fox. So like, for instance, the Orville. We love the Orville. It comes on Fox. Fox is still Fox. But the company that produces it is now owned by, like, every show they have. Like The Simpsons,
Yeah,
it's a Fox show, and they're still going to have Fox. But Disney now owns 20th Century Fox that makes it. So I don't know what's going to happen in any of these shows. I just need the Orville, Bob's Burgers, and Atlanta on FX to all keep going, and I'll be okay.
for sure.
I don't see them making any changes. They're just going to get more money.
Right. Well, I mean, I think eventually there will be changes, but I think things that are currently successful will probably keep going.
Agreed. And I did see a meme the other day where it has Disney buying all these, all these news stations, and then slowly buying countries, and then slowly taking over the world. And then it says like 2170. Fans are still excited to see X-Men and Marvel movies coming out.
Right.
Since X-Men will be back,
I
hopefully.
mean, the rumor is that Walt Disney was an anti-Semite, and so maybe he was just a secret Nazi this whole time, and this is his world takeover
this
plan.
is the world takeover.
But he's not around to watch it?
He's cryogenically frozen. They're gonna
Oh.
Bring him back.
bring him back whenever the world's his.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know if you guys have seen the viral video with regards to the boy that was bullied in Tennessee.
Yeah. The dude has a weird nose.
Yeah.
I'm going to bully him some more.
And so he was bullied, and it was all put on Facebook, and then the Tennessee Titans, the Tennessee Volunteers were going to come to the school
And then
and
some
talk about
MMA
volunteering.
fighter realized that it may have all been a scam to get money into a donation.
Well, there was
And then
$54,000.
The mom likes Confederate flags, so she's a racist. And now, you know me, I hate Confederate flags. I actually think it's weird to have a defeated country
For
when you're
sure.
repping it, but I I don't know if you can automatically, like, the people can connect the dots of, there's a picture of her with a Confederate flag too. Her son must have said the N-word, and that's why he was getting picked on. And I thought that was quite a leap for the internet to make.
I imagine he gets picked on because he has a weird shovel face.
Coopie.
Man.
Looks like he got hit in the face with a shovel.
Man.
Like a little Nicky scenario?
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Um,
You've seen him, right?
Yeah.
All right, you know what I'm talking about.
I just,
Slap face.
it's just funny because, like, when these microphones aren't on, I'm the mean one and you're all nice.
Yeah, and it's
as soon
the
as we're
opposite now.
recording, you're just going in on this little poor kid.
No, I don't. He probably did something to deserve it.
To get ham on him? I don't know about
What do you
that.
mean ham? I didn't hear about
They
the
put ham down his shirt at lunch and poured milk on him. That was how they picked on him. It was food based.
I just saw him crying about it on the video. I didn't hear about the ham.
Well, get your facts straight, Coopie.
Well, that is terrible.
But I mean, the mom comes out with this one picture, and I've got it here, saying that he doesn't support the Confederate flag because he's the one holding the American flag, while his other brother's holding the Confederate flag.
There you go.
So it's
Let me see that. I haven't seen that.
It's definitely okay.
I mean, my parents aren't Confederate flag lovers, but if I was in a family that was, I would have wouldn't have had a choice.
Have you seen the little girl holding the gun and Bible?
Yeah, it's.
Well, yeah, because when you do it with a gun and Bible, it's being an American.
Yeah,
but if
you're
you do
murked.
it with a Quran and Islamic flag,
Then you're a terrorist at that point.
Well,
but
Love those memes.
I do find it strange how quick that. I mean, he got $58,000 in a GoFundMe page. For what reason? I'm not real sure.
No shit. I'm about to get bullied up.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hit me a few times in the face, throw some ham down my shirt. You can even pour a whole gallon of
We
milk
need to
on.
put some money in this podcast. So we need to
You know what I'm saying?
get picked on.
It's definitely a little nuts. The last thing that I have here is about the Alabama Senate race that we had with Republican Roy Moore, Democrat Doug Jones, and the special election that happened. I was watching it as it was playing out, and it did seem, I don't remember Roy Moore's campaign manager exactly what he said, but he said this is a victory party. That's all they were waiting on all day was a victory party. And I know that he refused to concede because he said that he's going to wait on God and let this process play out. It's already played out. The votes have already happened.
And it was by quite a few. And I thought it was ironic that Trump was like, you should concede. Because he was the one's like, we're going to recount those popular votes.
Exactly. It was nuts. But I seen, I don't know, probably 40 or 50 Facebook posts immediately afterwards that says that something to the effect of, I've got a little bit of faith restored back in humanity now.
Right. I mean, I'm glad people could come together and not elect a pedophile.
But it's crazy
Congress.
that was even an option.
Right. And the Republican Party across the country, like the people in Congress, they just went in and was like, yep, you got to have him for the tax vote. So, like, they kind of just, I just felt like the people founded on the religious values of the Republican Party would have been against pedophilia. So it was odd to see that happen. And then I wish I had the numbers, but if it was only white people voting, Roy Moore would have won. Like, he won like 64% of the white vote.
Yeah, I mean it was I'm trying to find that article because it was pretty terrible. Let's see if I can. No, I can't find it right now. But yeah, it was like an 87% white vote for Roy Moore and the exact opposite for the black vote. But I do think Doug Jones, he came out and said, we need to get past this Roy Moore issue with sleeping with younger children. We need to continue moving on because that's done and over with. We need to address the other real problems that we also have. I'm not saying that isn't a real problem because it absolutely is. But it is, again, nice to see that in a red state, and it's been 25 years since they've elected a Democrat, that now he is being on there. But it was funny that Donald Trump, was that last little bit, even though against his advisors, still went and said, hey, vote for Roy Moore. He's a vote on our side, guaranteed. Obviously, you're saying you're going to get him his Senate seat back, even though he slept with a 14 and a 16-year-old in his 30s.
Well, even if we don't have proof he slept with them, because I don't think we have technical evidence. Maybe there is. I don't know. The fact that mall security was aware of who he was as in his 30s as a grown man, and to make sure he wasn't around pestering teenage girls in the mall is enough, in my opinion, to be like, that's a creepy dude. Like, even if you didn't have the, like, no, he actually had sex with me allegation part of it, I think that part alone's like, yeah, that's not someone who's cool. It's not a cool person.
Exactly. So, well, sorry, I do have one last thing, and it's about this net neutrality.
Yeah, we're all fucked.
I seen that there was, I think it was 13 states already has filed a lawsuit against the FCC.
Yeah, well, and in certain states like Washington State, I think it is, they're just going to make their own net neutrality law.
Yes.
That, and like Microsoft's out of Washington State, so they'd kind of have to.
Yep. But I know a lot of people are, going nuts. Netflix is going to be $199 a minute and all this other ridiculous stuff.
Right, and that's the thing is, it's going to be on the internet providers it just gives them options to do all these horrible things.
Yeah.
And maybe they will, maybe they won't. Eventually they will.
Eventually wherever they can make more money,
right?
They are going to figure that out. But I know a lot of people have had a lot of issues with that being passed.
All right, so kind of on the what we're watching, playing, all that stuff. I'm still playing Nier Automata, keep trying to beat it. I read that the first playthrough was 12 hours. I'm 20 hours in and still, I don't even know where to go at the moment. I'm like, it says I need to go to this spot on the map. I'm like, I don't know how to get to that spot on the map, so I'm just doing side quests. Fun game. There are parts that are boring about it. Like walking places is really boring in the game, but fighting's fun. I'll get back to The Sims eventually once I beat Nier Automata. I know I'm getting a gift for Christmas. That's a video game that I'm pumped about getting into. I don't really know if we've watched anything necessarily lately.
We rewatched Star Wars yesterday.
Oh yeah, we rewatched episode 7 where I just downloaded or rented the Blu-ray and watched that. It was way better than when I went to the theater and fell asleep. And
well, see, that's my thing. I've tried watching it twice, and both times I fell asleep.
It was we started pretty early yesterday,
the morning, yeah,
like 10 o'clock in the morning. We put towels around these windows, make it all dark, and then I have like a sound bar, so it was a decent setup. But we watched it all, and I was like, oh, it is pretty good. If we go to the movies to see,
we'll have to go to the matinee.
Yeah, we'll have to go early.
So we don't fall asleep again.
Right.
But last time it was just like a whim. We just decided to go, and we ordered the tickets online
after watching
because it was
Big Bang
opening
Theory.
night.
Because they were acting like it was so hard to get tickets, and Coopie was like, "I
gotta do it.
I gotta hook up."
And so we bought the tickets, and the theater wasn't even full, but we fell asleep. Actually, I mean, it filled up.
Yeah.
Once we got seated and everything, but it was really late, and we went to sleep.
That's crazy.
The movie. But
yeah.
So I actually started watching Luke Cage recently.
It's really good.
It is. I've really fallen in love with it. Unfortunately, I have to slow down because my wife keeps falling asleep and I keep watching an extra episode, which then I have to wait till she can catch back up, which is difficult when you have the little ones running around. You can't really have that on TV while they're watching it.
Well, eventually you'll have to watch Jessica Jones because it's.
I know.
I don't know. I like Luke Cage more, but I think Jessica Jones is better.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I understand. Go ahead, Coopie.
I just really enjoyed Jessica Jones. It was my first real one in the series or world, I guess you could say, to get interested in.
You're just all about the woman empowerment.
Yeah, I tried. What was it?
Daredevil.
Oh my gosh, season 1 is
that.
The most boring thing ever.
I tried like the first 4
It has
episodes.
good fighting scenes, but it is very boring.
I just couldn't do it. But my wife actually has been watching the Ellen Show quite a bit. And I had seen The Rock come on there, and so I wanted to watch it just because purely The Rock's on there. But she asked him if he's truly considering running for president, and he goes, "Yes, I am in the process of looking at how I can run for president in 2020." So I do want to see how that actually works out.
I mean, I don't know if he knows enough, but Trump didn't know enough.
I was going to say
popularity. And
I mean,
I don't
he's
know.
going to give the people's eyebrow, and just that's how he's going to get his votes.
He's gonna have a State of the Union, and he's like, "If you smell la, 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 what the Rock is cooking," and then if he could just be sworn as the Rock, Dwayne the Rock Johnson,
Oh, that
that'd
would be
funny.
so sick. And he stands up out there and just throws his hands up like he did in WWF
Yeah.
with his belt.
You should get like a president belt made.
Oh man, that would be awesome.
That'd be super. It's basically the movie Idiocracy, where Terry Crews is the
It's
president.
exactly it. Two quick things I want to bring up regarding sports world. Aaron Boone actually became the manager for the Yankees recently.
Saw that.
Thought that came out of nowhere. And then also Marvin Lewis, it came out today that him and Cincinnati are going to mutually part ways at the end of this season.
Which is probably good.
Yeah, for sure. Ending his 20-year run or something crazy there with Cincinnati, having no playoff wins during that entire time. But getting to the playoffs 7 times. I think it was 17 years that he was actually there. But those are sports world information. That's really about.
Well, I gotta say, I gotta congratulate Coopie because she sat through a Thunder game that went to triple overtime with me the other night.
It was the longest night of my life.
She was not happy about it.
It was just ridiculous.
Because the Thunder kind of suck, right? They look real ugly playing. And
Yeah.
then they had to play a game the next day after that. It looked even worse.
I bet so.
But we've watched lots of Thunder lately, and they never look good.
Yeah, they've been looking pretty terrible. That's for sure.
All right, so I guess we'll take a quick break because it's about the midway point here. And then we get back. We will do our top 5 favorite Christmas movies, Coopie.
Woo!
Awesome.
All right, and we're back. And again, for like the 12th time in a row, pal, what did we forget?
The email, again, if you have any questions, suggestions, or corrections, please email us at thepowwowwithmo@gmail.com. That is THEPOWWWITHMO@gmail.com.
All right, and we did get an email this week from Rusty, who is our
Sweet.
most wrote-in person. I don't know if I'm using
Shout
that
out,
word.
Rusty.
He has a few different things. The first part, he sent a YouTube video we need to watch. I totally forgot all about it because I read it at work originally. It was like, well, I'll watch this video when I get home. Totally forgot, so I had to catch up on that. He kind of weighed in on the whole Baker and the gay couple case. He kind of agrees that the guy just probably should have said no instead of bringing religion into it. But Rusty is cheering for the guy because he sees it where it's heading in a place where people get charged for vetting people on anything, regardless if it's religion or not. And I can kind of see it going that way, where I think a business owner should be allowed to care who they're doing stuff for. Like your grandpa, for instance, has a concrete company, and he can say no
Yep.
to someone if he wants. I mean, I bet he rarely does because he's trying to make money or whatever.
Yeah, he
but
hardly ever will say no.
And then he brought up a little bit of the Disney buying Fox thing where he's researched a little bit of the Infinity War comic storyline. And for that, they would need Silver Surfer is a big deal in the comics on that.
Oh, yeah.
And so since they are getting Fox, will they bring Silver Surfer into it from Fantastic Four? Kind of see. And then he also sent us some suggestions of top 5 ideas, which I did add some to our list. So eventually those will come up.
For sure. All right. So, Coopie, during our break, you had mentioned something about some books that you were reading.
You don't really care.
I do. That's why I'm asking about it. So what books have you been up to reading, obviously, because I know you are an English teacher, so I assume you probably read 35 books a month.
No, not even close.
So what books have you been on?
Well, my goal was to read 20 books in 2017, and I only got to 18, so I'm failing.
That is 18 more than I have read all year long.
But I read I started the year off with Harry Potter, books 1 through 7, read all those.
Sweet.
That did not take long. The first 2 books, I'm pretty sure I read in 4 days, maybe. It was not hard. But the best book I read this year was All the Light We Cannot See. Cannot remember the name of the author.
You're looking.
John
I'm
Grisham.
looking on the bookcase, but I think the book is in the other room.
It's John Grisham.
No, it is not. It's
That's about-
this is like I think his first. I mean, I think he's a French author. This is the first time he's published a book.
Oh, Oscar Wilde.
Considering you know his name, you should know that is a very famous author who has written a lot of books. But All the Light We Cannot See, it's set in World War II. It's beautifully written, follows 3 different characters. And it just has,
Anthony Doerr. Doerr. I don't know how to say that name. Doerr.
Could be
Door.
Doerr.
And it is such a great book. I don't know. I just really liked it. The characters were unique. The storyline was unique. It's set during World War II, near the end. So you get the perspective of a young boy who has joined the Hitler Youth. You get the perspective of this young girl who is blind, trying to survive the horrors of war. And then you have this strange storyline with this guy who's like a jewel thief, and he's trying to hunt down this mysterious jewel. But all of their storylines eventually connect, and it's just a really good story.
Looks like it's very well critically acclaimed.
Oh, yeah.
It's 2015 Pulitzer Prize for fiction.
Yeah, I'm a little behind. I read it a few years after it came out, but it was really good.
I've fallen off of my reading, but I did start one book this year that I'll finish someday. I think it's called Name of the Wind.
The Name of the Wind.
And it has the best reviews ever. And the third book's about to come out in the trilogy, and it's gonna have movies and TV shows, and it's projected to be like the next Game of Thrones thing. But I'm a third of the way through the first book, and just waiting for the hooks of what makes this thing great.
Sometimes it's not until you get to the very end that it actually like all connects, and you're like, that was all really good, worth it. Which brings me to the next little trilogy that I read was The Queen of the Tearling. Supposedly Emma Watson is out there producing what will be a film adaptation, but it's still in the works, and it's been in the works for a very long time, to the point where we don't even know if it's actually going to happen. But the book series is really good. There are 3, The Queen of the Tearling, The Invasion of the Tearling, and The Fate of the Tearling.
Aren't we upset that Emma Watson is too attractive to be the main character?
That was a concern, but the character actually changes her appearance throughout the course of the story to become more beautiful.
Oh, okay.
So it would work with the beautiful Emma Watson. But yeah, in the beginning, she's got to gain like some weight and not be as gorgeous as she is. She's got to be very plain and for the story to make sense for book 1. But in book 2, she can be beautiful, and then so on.
I see.
But I had my mom read those. She really liked them. I'm a big, so I hope that something comes of it. I read a book called The Roanoke Girls, which is about incest, and Aaron said that I had really funny facial expressions while I was reading it.
Yeah, she looked disturbed the whole time.
Very disturbed, but it was definitely a page turner. Kind of reminded me of Flowers in the Attic meets Virgin Suicide, so that was interesting. It was short, didn't take long to read. The book I'm reading right now is called Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult. And it has, I think it did come out this year, and it has had a lot of success. It's really good. I started it last night. I'm already pretty much through part 1. But it's about race issues. A nurse who is black is working with a patient who actually turns out to be
White supremacist.
White supremacist, thank you. He has a swastika tattooed on the back of his head and Confederate flag tattooed on his forearm. So he does not want the black nurse helping out with his newborn son. And I'm not going to spoil what happens, but ultimately there is a court case surrounding this particular patient-nurse conflict. And it's really good. So I'm going to finish it before 2017
Sweet.
ends. That's my goal.
All right, so is everyone ready for the top 5 list? Are
Yes.
you ready, Coopie?
Yes.
I don't know if Coopie's...
I have like a
we have
top
enough time to go through
50
all
list.
of Coopie's list. Because like I was telling her earlier, I had a struggle getting 5.
See, I did it first, and then the last couple of days, I was like, oh, yeah, there's that.
I mean, there's a few. Now, one of these in particular is not a Christmas film at all, but there's some sort of Christmas in it, so I'm including it in my top 5.
All right, and so here's how it'll work, Coopie. You will start with your number 5. Powwow will do his number 5. I'll do mine. And then 4, 3, 2, 1. If someone mentions one that is higher up on your list, just say, let's save that. I got that later. And then we'll get to it. So, Coopie, are you ready with your number 5 favorite Christmas movie?
Yes, I am.
What is it?
It is Miracle on 31st Street.
34th.
34th.
Is this the old one or the one that came out when we were kids with Matilda?
The one with the Matilda. I mean, I like them both, but when I first think of it, I think of the one with Matilda girl who's.
Right. I mean, I owned that VHS. Mm-hmm. I remember watching it at Christmas every year. Could not tell you the plot or why I watched it or anything. I had no idea.
And see, that was my problem with a lot of these. Is I know I watched them when I was younger, but I don't remember them enough to. If I can't remember the plot or most of it, I can't include it.
Right. So, Coopie, why do you like it?
Well, just one, because it came out when we were kids and it was like a big deal. And so I just remember watching it a lot. But I just like the story because the little girl is like, she doesn't believe in Santa Claus, but then she meets the real Santa Claus and he actually ends up getting arrested, tries to defend him and save Santa. And if I remember correctly, I think their family was... her mom was a single mom, and she just wanted a full family and a house and all that for Christmas. And by the end of it, she gets it all, and it's just heartwarming.
Well, I remember that actress. She was one of the best child actresses of all time.
Yeah, and I liked Matilda, so I liked her in anything else that she was in. But I really like that one a lot, so that's probably my number 5. I would like to rewatch it, but it's not for free anywhere at the moment.
I have a VHS in my parents' house somewhere, and we have a VCR. So
break out that VCR.
Maybe when we go to your parents on
Christmas,
Friday,
we'll
we can
figure something out.
Watch it.
Gonna have to get your rewinder out.
Yeah. All right, Powwow, what do you have for number 5?
So my number 5 is actually what I was just talking about. That's not an actual technical Christmas movie, and that is Friday After Next.
I mean, it happens at Christmas, but I wouldn't consider it a Christmas movie.
Agree.
No, not Christmas.
But I included in there because, again, most of these...
But it's a perfect reason to make Coopie watch the Friday trilogy.
Exactly.
My students talk about it often, but I do not know all the references.
Well, I have got all 3 Fridays and All About the Benjamins in one DVD.
I'm going to have to borrow that.
So you'll have to definitely borrow it now and watch it. But again, when I was growing up, there was a few Christmas movies that we watched, and that we just consistently watched and didn't really go outside of those. But that's why I had to add Friday After Next as my number 5.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's good. I don't really love Cat Williams. It's the worst of the 3, but...
For sure. If either one of the other 2 would have been on at Christmas, they would have been on there.
Right.
What are the order and names of them all?
So you have Friday,
okay,
next Friday,
and then Friday
after next.
Okay.
All right. My number 5 is Harold and Kumar 3.
What? Is that a Christmas movie?
Yes.
It is. It's Harold and Kumar.
3D. It was in 3D.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Okay. I do remember that because we went and saw it.
Yeah. We all went and saw it in theaters. I think most people would put this on the pot movie list, but it wouldn't make that list. It's not that good. But
That's for sure.
I think it's good enough to be number 5 on the Christmas movie list.
I can see that.
At least for me.
I don't really remember it. It was like 3 years ago. Is that right?
Probably longer. We were in college.
Yeah, I think it was longer than that.
Okay.
I don't remember a lot. I just remember the dude from Reno 911's in it, and then he has a baby the whole time, and the baby keeps getting drugged up, which was, I remember at the time being like, seems like an odd place for humor there.
Yeah. By the way, it did come out in 2011.
2011.
So it's been 6 years.
6 years.
6 years. Wow.
Yeah, a long time ago. So anyway,
Well,
that
the
made
one
my
and only
list
time we saw it.
because I really enjoy Harold and Kumar 1. And so this is my way to give that love by putting Harold and Kumar 3 on as the number 5.
All right.
Sure. All right, Coopie, what is your number 4?
The Preacher's Wife.
Oh, my God.
I love that
man.
movie.
I
It
don't
makes
even- I
me
don't even
tear
know what
up.
it is.
Has Denzel Washington and Whitney Houston.
My mom watched it when I
Wow.
was younger. To me, it was always an adult drama thing, and I was like, I'm leaving.
It has 2 adorable little boys named Jeremiah and Hakeem. Those are the character names. I don't know the actor names. But I'm actually showing it in my 4th hour. They voted to watch it, and they all really enjoy it. They all seem hooked.
Yeah, I might have to watch it someday, but...
Well, since Powwow doesn't know what it is, I'm going to just say a little bit about it. It's about a preacher, obviously, who's kind of down on his
I bet he has a wife.
He does. He's down. He doesn't feel like he's serving his community as well as he could, and everything's just falling apart at the church, and he doesn't feel like he's doing a very good job, and he's very disconnected from his family, and ultimately Denzel Washington plays an angel named Dudley to Earth to answer their prayers, and brings the family closer together. But along the way, he falls in love with the preacher's wife, played by Whitney Houston. So it's kind of got a little... Yeah.
Seems messed up to me.
He doesn't make any moves. He's very polite and doesn't want that to happen. But he can't understand why the preacher is neglecting his family. He doesn't see what he has. But it all turns out good in the end. And it's got a couple of side storylines in it that just make it a really good all-around heartwarming film. I like it a lot.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
For sure.
Powwow, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is going to be Frosty the Snowman.
It's on my honorable mention.
Is it? Okay.
That's just a song and a cartoon that lasts 30 minutes. It's not a full movie.
It is a long enough movie for me with Christmas.
I mean, it was probably my favorite of the like little short ones as a kid.
For sure. That's the best part. Again, I like Christmas and all, but I'm just not a huge Christmas movie person in general, except for really one of them. I know that's like blasphemy for Coopie because I know she loves about 65 different Christmas movies.
This list was hard for me.
But I mean, it was something that I remember growing up as a kid, just watching it, and I'll still watch it to this day. Just like another one that's right after this on the list. But Frosty the Snowman is my number 4.
All right, yeah, it's a pretty good one. I don't have any great memory. I mean, I watched it a lot. I like snowmen. Like, if you're gonna say, like, has this happened, right? If Coopie bought like 3 different plates and was like snowmen, reindeers, or Santa Claus hats, I'm gonna choose snowmen every time.
Yeah.
So like for Christmas decorations things, I always like snowmen. So maybe that's why I like Frosty the Snowman.
Here we go.
As well. All right, my number 4 is Jingle All the Way.
I have that as an honorable mention because I don't remember it all the way, but I remember it was funny.
Well, so when we grew up, Arnold Schwarzenegger was awesome.
Yes, he was.
And this was just an Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie, but wrapped around with Christmas stuff.
It was cute. I have it on my long, long list of other movies, Christmas movies.
So I just like the fact all we know went through his craziness of trying to hunt down this toy.
Yep.
And then I don't remember if I watched it again, I'm sure it would all come back to me. There's lots of details I don't remember, but I remember as a kid being like, yeah, Jingle All the Way. Like, I went and saw it in theaters, and I like Jingle All the Way quite a bit. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but number 4 on my list.
For sure. So, Coopie, what is your number 3 top 5 Christmas movie?
A Christmas Carol. The one... How do you guys not... You'll know it when I describe it.
The Muppet one?
No, not the Muppet one. I like the Patrick Stewart one that came out in like 99.
Okay.
I have it on DVD. We can watch it, but currently my second hour class is chosen to watch that movie, so it's up at the classroom. But The Ghost of Christmas Past, Christmas Present, Christmas Future, Charles Dickens, classic Christmas story, Christmas Tale.
See, I like all the cartoon TV show versions when they'll do their Christmas Carol episode.
There is a new one that came out that I believe Jim Carrey plays, I think, Ebenezer Scrooge, but I haven't seen it, so I feel like a fraud.
I think it's just called Scrooge, maybe?
Maybe. It's like a crazy animated
right.
3D. The kids mentioned that it was scary.
That's fun.
Yeah, so they like this version better with Patrick Stewart because it is the best one.
Wasn't there one, because I believe my grandfather made me watch it with Bill Murray?
That's just called Scrooge.
It's called Scrooge.
That one's just called Scrooge?
It's a comedy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good 80s movie. I think it was in the 80s.
You have as your number 3.
So my number 3 again is similar to Frosty Snowman, is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Cartoon.
Yeah.
Old school.
Claymation.
Claymation.
Yeah.
Stop animation, yeah.
Yeah, again, it was one of those movies that growing up as a kid, I don't know how many times we watched it during the holiday season, especially when it came on TV, obviously. But just in school, my grandparents would have us watch it. It was just another good, for me as a kid, I really loved it.
See, I always hated, like, I liked it as a kid, but I always hated Rudolph's voice.
Yeah.
Well, the bulb when his nose glowed.
I know. Like, you know what I mean? It's just very much.
Just a lot of the voice acting in that isn't good. And it's like whatever one it is that like the sequel, right, with the Heatmeister and all that stuff. Like that one's produced a lot better. But the Rudolph one, just audio was always all over the place. I remember it always hurt my ears as a kid.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I mean,
But it was good. I mean, it's classic.
for sure. That's why I have it as number 3. So, Mosier, what do you have as number 3?
All right, my number 3, I remember not wanting to like it first, but it is really good, which is Elf.
Why didn't you want to like it?
Because I loved Will Ferrell being vulgar, and I was like, fuck this, him making a kids movie.
Yep.
But my favorite Will Ferrell movie is a kids movie called Kicking and Screaming. Still think it's better than every other Will Ferrell movie. But Elf is super good. Like, he's really, really good in Elf, and he wasn't playing a cocky douchebag like he was in a lot of his movies. So he got to take kind of a new role there. Elf is really, really funny. Like, there's plenty of quotable moments from Elf. I don't know, just like that one in general.
For
I
sure.
did not make anyone else's list.
It did
crazy.
make an honorable mention, but not a top 5.
All right, Coopie, what do you have as number 2?
White Christmas.
Is that the one I've watched like a million times?
Yes.
Is that the one from the 60s?
It's from 1954. You've only watched parts of it a couple of times. Just clarify that.
I ain't trying to sit around and watch that whole thing.
It's so good. I love it. It is long. It's like over 2 hours, I
Oh
think.
my gosh. No, again, Christmas movie, max hour and a half. It should be in that time
No,
range.
but it's so good. It's got tap dancing and it has singing and the girls.
Well, and Coopie gets fascinated with one of the actresses, how skinny her waist is.
She had ribs removed. She was also anorexic. Her name is Vera
she had
Ellen.
ribs
Look her
removed?
up. Look her up. Her name is Vera Ellen. She has the tiniest waist anybody has ever seen. It's not natural. She literally had her ribs, like a couple of them removed.
Like Marilyn Manson. Remember
Yeah.
that?
Oh, that's, yeah, I mean, you're not getting it from behind, holding on to those hips.
That's gross. But she was a great dancer. She just had a lot of body image issues, but I'm sure her directors wanted her to look that way. But she is a great dancer, and the movie's just really good. Although I will say, there's a movie that came out before this one called Holiday Inn, which was I think in the 40s. So it's an old black and white White Christmas. It's like Technicolor. But in the Holiday Inn, it has a White Christmas. So that's where it's first premiered with Bing Crosby. But that movie has a really terrible blackface scene in it. But that is a very popular Christmas movies of years past. Not by me necessarily, but people did like that movie a lot. But that one also had Easter Parade, the musical. You guys don't know what I'm talking about. 'Cause you don't
Not
watch
a
old-
clue.
No idea.
Easter
None.
Parade was a separate movie
Might as
that
well
came
be
out.
asleep.
But all of those songs first came out in Holiday Inn, which was in the 40s. But
Oh, I
then-
know Holiday Inn by Chingy.
No.
Snoop Dogg.
No. But anyway, White Christmas is my number 2 favorite. I love it. I watch it every year. Well, it's a great one to watch while you're wrapping presents.
All right.
For sure.
Powwow, what is your number 2 favorite?
My number 2 is going to be Home Alone.
It's pretty good. I mean, I loved it as a kid.
For sure.
As an adult, I watch it and I'm like, how'd they leave him in the first place?
Again, and I think one thing I had seen a while ago is, what does Mr. McAllister do to get that big ass house?
Right.
Like, what job does he have? You know what I mean? This got round trip tickets to Miami or whatever in the middle of the holiday season
For 14 kids.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell did he do? But no, again, just Home Alone was awesome. Again, I'm a huge fan of the first one. The second one in New York is okay, and then I don't know how many other ones they created afterwards. I know at least one more, if not 2 more.
I remember 3.
I remember 3 watching it. It again was just like, okay, it's not that great.
Yep.
It's like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The third one, that one sucked as well. But no, Home Alone is just a great one that it was honestly difficult between 1 and 2 for me. These are ones that I will watch every year with my kid. The first Christmas that Saya had, we actually watched Home Alone, and then we also watched my number one.
I'm sure he remembered every scene.
He lasted about 10, 15 minutes in this one, and then he passed right out.
Yep.
But again, Home Alone's a good one just because as a kid, you think, oh, I can make all these crazy booby traps to my house.
I'm going to murder these people breaking into my house.
Yeah.
Because most of those things would have murdered them. They
For
wouldn't
sure,
have lived.
especially that big giant pipe coming flying down. Or the
Getting
spider.
electrocuted.
Yeah, being electric, and then
Connected to like the main breaker line.
And then I just always thought it was funny that part whenever he turns into a skeleton for a second.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I rewound and watched that part, just cracking up laughing as he's shaking, getting louder and louder, high pitched. But again, Home Alone is my number 2.
All right, my number 2 is my favorite movie as a kid, Christmas movie as a kid. I saw it in theaters, and I saw the second one in theaters, and the third one. They get worse, but I went the original, which is The Santa Claus.
That is my number 1.
All right, then we'll wait. Coopie, what's your number 1?
A Christmas Story with the Red Ryder BB gun.
I knew that'd be your number 1. It was my number 5, but got removed for Harold and Kumar because I knew you would have it.
Yeah, it's definitely one that I know all the words to. Did every Christmas with my sister. Lots of memories. Just
Now
the
remind me,
best.
I could be complete. This is the one where the
You'll shoot your eye out.
okay
Kid gets his
sticks
tongue
stuck
to
to the pole, and
It came
he's
on
all
TBS for
Okay,
72 straight hours
Yeah,
every
they usually
year.
do a
Yeah.
marathon.
My grandfather, this is his number 1 favorite.
I mean,
as
I
well.
like it, but it hit that like weird saturation point where they just show it too much, and I would watch it every year to where I'm like, could never watch it again, and I'd
No,
be cool with
it's
that.
so good. It's so funny.
It
it's
is.
subtly funny in ways
It's
that
funny and
people.
it's good. I agree.
Doesn't he get a leg lamp?
Yeah, he gets the electric sex that glows in the
Yeah,
window.
that's right.
And he says the entire block was turned on. And like as a child, when you're watching it, you don't pick up on all that.
Right.
But the movie just gets better the older you get because you get all the jokes. As an adult, I'm cracking up watching it, while my students, because it's first hour watching that one. I make all my kids watch my movies. They all wanted to watch Elf and Polar Express, but anyway. They're watching Christmas Story, and they don't get all the jokes, but
Yeah, I mean, it's a good one.
It's
I
still
love
really
it.
funny.
I mean, I do
love
like it. It didn't make my top 5, but it almost did. It was on there this morning when I woke up.
Then it had to get changed.
Yep.
And it's just one that is also going to be performed live on
Yeah.
Fox, I think.
Yeah,
tonight.
I've seen that.
We'll have to watch it.
It's tonight. Tonight, hot damn tonight, which is a quote from the movie. 'Cause he's getting the package, his major award.
I just remember the gravy boat scene. I mean, I remember a lot of the individual scenes.
Yeah.
Where he's eating
stick
like
out.
a little piggy. Is that what you're talking about?
Yep. Yeah, that was good.
It's so good.
All right, pal. So your number 1 was my number 2, which was the Santa Claus.
Yes, and I agree with you. They do get progressively worse. Santa Claus, the first one, I remember when it came out, it was that awesome movie with Tim Allen again. He was huge back then.
Yeah. Home Improvement was just the shit.
For sure. But the Santa Claus
Jungle
movie.
to Jungle.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one. With his kid, I don't remember his kid's name. That was white.
He wasn't famous.
No.
His wife just had him and raised him in the jungle. He wasn't actually from the jungle.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why he's white, because
Yeah, and
his
then
parents were white.
Yeah, that was again. I like that one, but Santa Claus is it was awesome.
We watched it last night. Went to sleep. It hasn't aged amazingly well.
Yeah.
But there's more things I think as an adult, like, was that they act like that's the original Santa Claus that falls off his roof, but probably not.
No.
Yeah.
It's probably just some random guy. And then he's just some random guy, right? And then he gains the weight, and that's all super funny. And then no one believes his kid in the first one's a cute kid or whatever.
Yep.
But it
Charlie.
fucking pretentious little ass. Last night
Yeah,
we were
he
getting
is.
so like, oh fuck this kid. But then the second one, there's another Claus that he has to have a Mrs. Claus. What happened to the original Mrs. Claus if there was another Santa and she was like they don't care about that?
Whenever she dies, she gets thrown into
Right, and then the third one,
with
Martin
all the-
Short shows up and go back in time, and it gets crazy.
Well, and they have all the other, characters as well: Sandman, Easter Bunny,
Right.
Tooth Fairy, who wants to have some other random crazy name. But yeah, the Santa Claus is awesome. Not so much a fan as the other two. Second movie, Charlie grows like, I don't know, 15 years.
Right.
Real fast in that one. But Santa Claus, it is awesome through and through.
I mean, like I said, after watching last night, I will say it's not a very good movie, but I liked it as a kid. And as far as Christmas movies, it's
At the end
got
of
the
the
whole
day-
Christmas spirit, but most Christmas movies, they just don't
Well, at the end of the day,
have a good plot.
Santa broke laws.
Yeah.
He took his kid, which he was not allowed to do,
Yeah, he kidnapped his kid.
and flew him in an unsafe vehicle without a seatbelt.
Yep.
He had a seatbelt.
Well, and then I forgot all about the
They redid
little,
this way.
the
That's
elite
right.
fighting, or wait,
The elves.
right, the
Oh.
elves, whatever it stood for.
Oh, man.
And they like break him out. It's so the special effects are so bad. But
Whenever
you're
they're
like,
shooting their little string around the fat guy, spinning him around, and shove a donut in his mouth.
Their tinsel that
Oh,
can
the
cut
tinsel
the metal.
that cuts it.
there's a lot of dumb shit, but it was funny.
Not just for decorating with.
Oh man, that movie is good. But yeah, that's one that me and my son again watched. We watched that one on Christmas Eve. He lasted a little bit longer, all the way until he started getting fat and running into that board meeting.
Yeah.
Where he orders a ridiculous amount of food, and then says he got stung by a bee. And that's where his weight came from.
Remember that. All right,
I have a couple things I have to mention before.
I have one left on my list.
Oh, well, what is it?
My number one, in which you will not like, because I know you don't,
No, wait, I think I do.
is Bad Santa.
Oh,
Like,
is that the one with Bernie Mac?
no.
No.
Well, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Bernie Mac is in that movie.
Okay.
But Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, Billy
is the
Bob
main
Thornton's the Santa. Yeah.
guy. So yeah, it's Billy Bob Thornton, Bernie Mac, little black midget guy. I don't remember his name. And then
Short people.
I don't know the little blonde haired kid's name. He's the best part of the whole movie because he's so sad. The movie's just super dark.
Well, I will say I never saw it until last year. We watched it, and that was the first time I ever watched it because I didn't like the idea of making Santa ugly and bad. But I actually was very surprised by how much I did like the movie. It's not on my top 5, but
It's
I liked it.
leaps and bounds higher than any movie on my Christmas list. I really, really like Bad Santa. But I just like I said, how sad the kid is, and then his mom is, or there's some lady, the lady from Gilmore Girls is in the movie randomly. Not really his mom. His mom's, I think, just disappeared. But this was his grandma, and there's just so much shit that's so sad about that movie. But it's also really funny at the same time, so it puts you in this weird dark place. I think the reason it's way on my list, though, is also because my dad likes it. And me and my dad don't have a whole lot of movies and TV shows we both like. So, but if Bad Santa's on, me and my dad will just watch it. My dad cracks up at that movie, which I like because I crack up at that movie. So anyway, I think Bad Santa's the best. I'll have to watch it before Christmas because that's my traditions.
I don't
For sure.
think it's... There's Bad Santa 2.
I haven't watched Bad Santa 2, though.
But I don't know if we can watch... Where did we watch Bad Santa 1? Was it Netflix? We have to find it because we don't own it.
Yeah, it was probably Netflix. I don't know. We'll look. We'll have to figure it out. But yeah, eventually I have to watch Bad Santa 2. But I know Bernie Mac's not in it.
No,
So
nope, that he's not.
we'll have to see who they got to replace there. All right. So what are some honorable mentions, Coopie, that you must get out there?
I must say this. The Nutcracker. It's a ballet, so I didn't put it in my top 5 movies because I've only ever seen the actual ballet performance. But I love the
only seen-
Nutcracker.
Actual Nutcrackers.
You just out on the shelf at the store.
Right.
I went to the University of Arkansas for 3 straight years and watched the Nutcracker, and every year I got more and more disappointed.
Well, that's sad.
Well, the first time I think I was like 7 or 8, and I fully thought we were going to watch a play where there was words. So I
It's just
didn't
dancing.
realize it was literally no words at all for this 14 hours I'm sitting in this uncomfortable hot room. And every year, because my aunt played the oboe while she was there. But yeah, I've watched it enough. Looking back at it now, it's okay. But I could definitely see why it's your kind of movie.
It's
Or
a
ballet,
ballet.
excuse me.
When I grew up in Norman, and we would always go to OU and they would switch every other year. One year it would be A Christmas Carol, which I mentioned earlier, and then they would switch the next year to the Nutcracker. And so we would always go and see them. We have a beautiful ornament on our tree that I got from one of the Nutcracker performances.
Is it a Nutcracker?
No, it is not. It
Miss.
It is.
What hell kind of
It's the
ornament
Sugar
would you get?
Plum Fairy and the Prince when they do their ballet
Okay.
scene.
Duh.
But my granny had these beautiful music boxes growing up that you would line them all up in a row, and they were electric, and each one would open up and play a different musical song or musical score from the ballet, and it had these little dolls and stuff that would spin around, and so I would used to sit there and watch those all the time. I just love everything about the Nutcracker. OU now does a Oklahoma Nutcracker, which is all fancy, and they have like armadillos and stuff in it instead of making it like...
That's cute.
It is cute. It is cute. But I love the Nutcracker, so I wanted to mention that.
All right, let's make the other ones a
right.
little faster.
All right, Little Women. Little Women. Some people say it's not a Christmas movie because it only...
Never seen it. Don't know.
It only has
Is there
two
a big
Christmas...
women?
They're turning...
And then
no.
medium women.
It's based on the novel by Louisa May Alcott.
Well, it's
Anyway.
on your list The Night Before. The Seth Rogen movie. I was going to put
No,
on
it
my
is not
top
on my
5 list, but I don't remember the plot. I just remember we watched it last year, and we were like, that's pretty funny. Don't remember anything else about the movie.
I think I fell asleep.
And then we also watched Office Christmas Party,
A little too long, but pretty funny.
and that was funny, but again, don't remember much of it, so I didn't put it on my list.
It was a lot of chaos, but I thought Jennifer Aniston was hilarious.
It wasn't TJ Miller in it?
Yes.
Yep.
I like him.
And then one of mine I have is How the Grinch Stole Christmas with
Yeah.
Jim Carrey.
Well, yeah.
I've never seen the live action one.
I thought it was pretty decent.
I'm sure it is.
It was the first one I watched this year while I was putting up the tree. Nymeria liked watching Max the dog. She was a
sure.
big fan.
Yep.
So, Coopie, any more Christmas stuff you need? I mean, you can keep talking about movies you love.
No, it's okay.
Any
There are
Christmas
lots.
songs you really like?
Silver Bells is my favorite. Hands down, Silver Bells.
What is the best Christmas gift you've ever gotten?
My American Girl doll, I got Kirsten. She was from, like, Sweden or something. And, well, if you know anything about the American Girl doll's original 90s edition, they came from different time periods.
All I know about
Cultural.
American Girl dolls is the episode where Conan went to the American Girl doll
It's
place.
a great episode.
And from what you've told me.
Yeah, but my sister had Samantha, which was the Victorian doll. Mine was like a pioneer doll. She came over on a little boat, and a lot of dysentery.
And
in
they're
her
still
family.
like popular, right?
Yes, but nowadays the American Girl doll is more modern. They don't really. They do, I think, still put out like a 50s doll or a 60s hippie doll or whatever. But more popular is to get the dolls that look like you, and get the outfits to match, and
Everyone's obsessed with themselves.
exactly, yeah. It's not necessarily about the history and the culture of the American people who came here and built America. It's now like the millennials looking like themselves. Yeah,
With their fucking iPhones and iPads.
I'm sure they do have dolls with iPhones and
Real quick, because we
iPads.
brought up iPads and iPhones there. Powwow, you might have seen this commercial. Me and Coopie hate the commercial. It has a cool little song. It's got a girl with glasses and curly hair, and she's like walking around with her iPad.
I know exactly
And
what
then
you're
at
talking
the
about.
end of the commercial,
Yes.
she's laying in the yard, and the neighbor goes,
What are you doing on your computer?
"What are you doing on your computer?" And the girl was like, "What's a computer?" And I'm like, 2 things. Maybe 3. If you're pretentious enough that you don't call a fucking tablet a computer, then just fuck you there. And then act like you've never heard the term computer. You look like a
Exactly.
14-year-old person in this world. You know what a computer
Nope,
is.
schools don't have computers. They only have iPads.
It's
Man.
a dumb commercial at the very end there. It just spoils it all.
Right. It's so stupid.
For
Anyway,
sure.
So what's the best Christmas gift you've ever gotten, Powwow?
So I think it has to go between 2 things, honestly. It's Stretch Armstrong when I was younger. I love that doll until I eventually cut the arms and all that nasty jelly falls out.
Yep.
But then it would have to be, I got a go-kart when I was like 8 or 9 years old. We had it for about a month or so, and then it was stolen by some crackheads down the road.
Well, I'm sure that month was fun.
It was awesome. It really was. And granted, looking back on it, that was such a hazard of driving that go-kart because the bottom plate that was holding it up was held together by zip ties.
Safe.
So I mean, definitely safe there. But that was an awesome present whenever I got, because we didn't have a lot of money, so getting something that was motorized like that was just not even conceivable at that time.
Right. Almost all of mine are video game console. When I look back of like what I really like I remember getting a bicycle when I was 4,
Getting the Mongoose
5.
bike.
I never had a Mongoose one, but I remember getting my first bike. But outside of that, if it wasn't a video game system, it really doesn't stick out hardcore. I would have to be reminded. I remember getting video games at times, but I got a Sega Genesis was the first one I got for Christmas, and at the time was really excited. In hindsight, fuck, I wish I would have got a Super Nintendo. Super Nintendos are so much better, but I didn't choose it. Right? Yep. You're not that position as a kid. So I got a Sega Genesis. It was fun. Played some games, and then the next time I got a big console was a Nintendo 64 for Christmas. And again, hindsight, I wish I got a PlayStation. I eventually did. But that was being a big deal. I would say my PlayStation 2 was the best Christmas gift I ever got. Yeah. I don't even know what year that necessarily was, but I went and bought Final Fantasy X for it before I even had it because I knew I was getting it for Christmas. And it was just sitting on my shelf, with my PlayStation 1. I couldn't even play it. And then the day I got my PlayStation 2, that Christmas day, I did nothing but play Final Fantasy X. And it turns out that was the first Final Fantasy I didn't love, so that was a bummer.
All the hype for nothing.
But for most people, around our age, especially guys, a PlayStation 2 was your first DVD player.
Yeah.
DVD players were still expensive at that time, so as soon as you got that, you're like, oh shit, I got the Matrix, I'm gonna watch special features. And it didn't even so I remember that was a big deal because you got a DVD player and it played the most realistic looking video games ever at the time.
Yeah.
So the PlayStation 2 would have to be my best Christmas gift.
For sure.
I got a Vita a couple years ago. That one was also a very good gift.
I've gotten a lot of good gifts, and a couple of other honorable mentions would be my bicycle, which was purple and had glow-in-the-dark stars, which was really cool.
Oh, shit. They have streamers?
It did have streamers. Yep. And then I also got, my sister and I, we had our own phone line back in the day.
Right.
And so one year we got matching phones for our phone line, and they were really cool. They were the clear plastic, colorful.
You could see all the gadgets.
Yeah, you could see how the phones worked. And so being able to set up my own answering machine and give out my own phone number was a pretty big deal for me. Actually, I did get a cell phone, but it was the big Nokia brick. But that was a pretty awesome Christmas, being pumped for that Nokia cell phone.
Yeah, for sure.
But I never got the cool Razor. That never happened.
I got a Razor 2 when those came out.
Razors were the shit.
That Nokia brick lasted a long time.
I mean, if they re-put out a new...
battery lasted a long time on those things.
If they put out a new Razor sort of phone that was just a flip phone and did very limited stuff, I would really consider it.
Yeah.
I get addicted to some games on my phone, but I could not. I have games I can play other places, but that's really the only thing holding me back. But there are many days I just am I kind of want a flip phone. I just don't want to deal with this really expensive thing. Especially the day comes when I'm I have to buy a new one, just straight up.
Yeah, we both I need a new one.
Yeah.
And those things are
Mine
so
is
damn
only
expensive.
a 16 gigabyte S5. My phone's dated.
Mine crapped out on me because of this stupid charger.
Yeah, fucking phones, man.
And if anyone would like to write to us, let us know any of their favorite Christmas presents or traditions that they have, please email us at thepowwowwithmo@gmail.com. That is THEPOWWOWWITHMO@gmail.com.
All right, that's all I got. What about you, Coopie?
I don't know when. I guess I'll see you next Christmas. I don't know when they'll have me on.
Well, we could do a top 5 favorite books. I just don't... I don't know how you want to do it, because I could do probably top 5 favorite books, but I'd have to do a lot of book series as just one book.
Okay, because I was going to say Game of Thrones is probably going to hit my top 5 real fast.
Right, that would be all of Powwow's. But I don't know if Powwow's read enough series. I know he's read all the Goosebumps from the day.
Yeah, I can knock out some Goosebump books.
Well, we can't spoil it all now, but I look forward to the book podcast.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll see you guys then.
We'll see if we ever get there. Talk about books.
Everyone have a happy Christmas. Be safe.
Merry Christmas.
Peace.